welcome back. I am Largo, and today we're checking out another death battle video. Today's gonna be OmniMan versus Bardock. OmniMan jumping back into the arena again against Bardock, a Saiyan. Be interesting to see how this one goes. Viltrumites and Saiyans definitely have their similarities. The general base set of powers, super speed, super strength, flight, energy projections, stuff like that. So be interesting to see which way they go with it. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards OmniMan, just in the fact that typically when people think of Saiyans or Dragon Ball, stuff like that, they think of Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, all these characters who have gone well beyond Super Saiyan. But Bardock is, even amongst his own people, he was strong, but he wasn't like the strongest of the Saiyans. And up to that point, there had been no Super Saiyans. And I think if the side storyline where he goes back in time is canon, then the highest level he reaches is Super Saiyan 1. I don't know. Let's see how that stacks up against Viltrumites. Let's see what the guys at Death Battle have to say. And let's jump into it.
OmniMan, Earth's once greatest hero. Alongside the Guardians of the Globe, he protected the world from all manner of threats. And then, in a single day, it all went horribly wrong.
Why, OmniMan? How, OmniMan? Who, OmniMan?
Who indeed? Champion of Earth, best-selling author J.K. Simmons, yet it was all
J.K.
a
Simmons.
charade, with his murderous rampage only brought to a halt thanks to his own son.
It all starts with his home planet, Viltrum, which I hear is a totally lovely utopia.
Through brutal, mortal combat.
With a K! Or, wait, no, that came later.
Viltrumites are among the most powerful beings in the universe. Even more so.
Bruh, is this dude's name, is his name is Now An? Really? I didn't know that his actual Viltrumite name was Now An. Okay, bro. All right. 2,000 years old, about 6'2", 250. He's a Viltrumite. All right, let's go. Likes Mark, Debbie, writing, and bugs. Yeah.
After they purged the weaker members of their species. As a vanguard of the Viltrumite Empire, OmniMan infiltrated Earth as Nolan Grayson, expected to prepare the planet for Imperial assimilation.
Which should have been easy, since he's got your classic strongman superpowers and he's basically invulnerable, easily knocking around asteroids the size of Texas.
He can fly at unbelievable speeds, soaring from Earth to the planet Thraxa.
I loved that scene where he goes to that planet and just going through buildings like a railgun, dude. I loved that scene. That was awesome.
In under 1 week. Thraxa is, quote, a couple galaxies away, give or take, so a minimum of 2 galaxies. Beyond the Milky Way's neighbor Andromeda is the lesser-known Triangulum Galaxy, which is over 2.7 million light-years away. Reaching it in under 1 week means OmniMan must have flown over 142 million times faster than light.
Oh, and Viltrumites can't breathe in space, so he held his breath the whole way. And it's not like he was in a rush. He was on a soul-searching trip, contemplating the significance of smashing his own son's face in. Think, Nolan, think.
Yeah, this is why I'm never having kids.
You're missing out. But according to another Viltrumite, Thetis, a bunch of other Viltrumites who actually were in a hurry flew to Viltrum across the Virgo supercluster in less than 24 hours.
That's over 20 billion times faster than light.
They don't really need to rush anyway. The older a Viltrumite gets, the slower they age.
According to the Invincible Handbook, Nolan is over 2,000 years old. And regardless of age, Viltrumites don't suffer muscle fatigue like humans do, so they rarely ever tire out.
Seriously? He's got parenting easy mode on, and he couldn't even handle that. I would have killed for that back when my daughter was born.
Well, you would have to be a Viltrumite first. A Viltrumite's body contains smart atoms, which they subconsciously manipulate. This cellular structure can effectively recall certain states of being regardless of their present environment, reacting to changes at an atomic level to perform the impossible.
Yeah, like surviving your intestines getting ripped out, or even more scary, ripping out your whole beard all at once. Ugh, only a Viltrumite could—
What? Homie ripped out his whole beard. I mean, my God, as a man with a beard, and I've grown my beard out long before, as a man with a beard, that is horrific. That is horrific. Even for a Viltrumite, if they were to do that, they would rip their whole face off. Like the skin is coming with it. If you've got that good of a grip and it comes out that fast, the whole thing's coming together.
Pull off something that disturbing.
Nolan is incredibly tough, but if he faces superior forces, his smart atoms can adjust to make him even stronger by comparison. This is why Viltrumites are considered invincible.
Most weapons in the universe can't even scratch a Viltrumite like him.
Even a ship's cannon like this one can't take down a Viltrumite, and it obliterated a massive solar disk nearly half the size of a star.
Speaking of planets, he's strong enough to...
But isn't there those creatures that can just straight up eat Viltrumites? Like they just have like teeth that just bite into them and they can just chomp off a Viltrumite's head with like no problem whatsoever?
Shatter one by flying straight through it. A planet so big it has a whole ring around it.
The Roche limit factor dictates the size a celestial body must be in order to disperse orbiting material as a ring. In short, an Earth-sized planet can't support such a ring, meaning this one must be much larger.
And don't get me started on how the ring is actually made up of dead bodies because, spoilers? Just go read the comic.
If Roche isn't doing it for you, this planet also supports 5 moons in its orbit, and even the smallest is a perfect sphere, meaning its own gravity shaped it. At minimum, a moon like that must have a diameter of 600 kilometers, or 370 miles. Comparing this to the planet's diameter, we can tell this world is nearly 14 times larger than Earth.
Or it was before, you know, kablam.
Now, OmniMan does have his weaknesses. Monsters like Ragnar's can pierce Viltrumite flesh, and he's extremely sensitive to a specific high-pitched frequency, which can destabilize his body's equilibrium.
But his real weakness turned out to be, you guessed it, fatherhood. Thanks to his son Mark, Nolan began to re-examine his perspective and his place in the universe. He settled down in a new place, got himself a new job, and even had a new kid with his new wife, who's a bug. The bug lady, he banged a bug.
Nolan.
OmniMan? How? OmniMan?
Hey, everyone deals with parenting stress in their own way. When Nolan was lecturing to Mark about how insignificant people are, Mark...
It's a good thing his bug wife doesn't last long, because it'd be a real awkward conversation if his bug wife ever met his human wife. What's her name? Debbie? You imagine Debbie sitting across the table from a giant grasshopper and going, Nolan.
How you are, you just have to say
really, Nolan?
They're not really fun. You just can't get into it.
Mark wasn't the only one he was trying to convince, if you catch my drift.
Nolan Grayson's real mission isn't planetary conquest or saving the innocent. It's to discover if a violent man who can break the world can also be a good father.
Godspeed, OmniMan.
All right, that was the breakdown for OmniMan. Okay, I mean, at this point, I think we're all pretty familiar with OmniMan, what he's capable of doing, the general strength of Viltrumites, Nolan in particular. Okay, all right, let's see what Bardock's got going on, because, like I said, as far as I know or remember, I don't really think Bardock was that strong. Like, I can't think of any feats that Bardock really has that are that impressive, frankly. So hopefully Bardock has something here that the guys at Death Battle have managed to dig up from the archives or something, but let's see.
Of the cosmos laid a world with a people like no other, born and raised to do just one thing: fight.
The Saiyans, a proud warrior people from the planet Vegeta, ruled by, King Vegeta. Well, narcissist punch.
Exactly. Their pride blinded them to the truth of their impending doom. But perhaps one Saiyan represented the best of them, even during their waning glory days.
Bardock! He's cool, he's crude, he's got a bad attitude, and if he goes apeshit, you're totally screwed. And guess what? He's father of Goku.
Oh wow, I never
Father
would
of
have guessed.
Goku.
Right? What a curveball.
So what does that make Turles?
Who?
Bardock was a cold-blooded killer, ruthlessly conquering planets in service to the Saiyan's true overseer.
Hold up now. We're just gonna gloss over that because I've legitimately said that. Isn't Turles supposed to be a relative of Goku as well? I mean, wasn't that a thing, or did they not? I don't know, man. They've changed the Dragon Ball canon so much. I have no idea what's canon and what's not anymore. So
Lord Frieza.
They didn't just conquer planets, they wiped out every living thing, leaving Frieza uninhabited rocks to sell away. Bardock was an asshole. Well, until he wasn't.
Bardock's story has evolved over the years, with multiple iterations to draw from.
Including one where he's a brilliant scientist.
But only one is considered officially canon. Bardock's demeanor began to shift when he met and eventually married fellow warrior Guinea, and had two sons, Raditz and Kakarot.
No, Bardock didn't go totally soft. He was still a ruthless warrior. You know that iconic red headband of his? It's stained with the blood of his fallen friends. Hardcore!
Bardock could fly, move faster than light, and was naturally adept in using his ki as an explosive weapon.
AKA shooting lasers from his hands! True to his brutal screw-you nature, Bardock's moves are all about overwhelming power. His final spirit cannon is like a ki-powered bazooka. His rebellion hammer punch ignites enemies on contact, and his rebellion spear basically turns him into a supercharged battering ram. The guy has no chill. He will run you over, break your spine, light you on fire, and then move on to the
Those edits, bro.
next guy. All in a day's work for a Saiyan.
Marriage didn't change that. While Bardock cared for Guinea, in fact being one of few Saiyans,
That's a Saiyan skirt.
marriage didn't
Look, that's a Saiyan armor skirt. I don't even know what to say, bro. That's the first time I ever knew something like that existed. Presumably, though, if it's made out of the same material that the shoulder pads, the back plate, and the thigh guards are, then it should be a hard material. So, yeah, she's got the little hole in the back for her tail, but that entire thing should be a hard material, like ceramic or something, which would make it really awkward to sit down in that outfit. But I don't know why I just thought of it, but just Saiyan armor skirts apparently are a thing.
didn't change that. While Bardock cared for Guinea, in fact being one of few Saiyans of his time to actually have a romantic partner, he was still no family man. Like most Saiyans, he saw his sons as nothing more than future soldiers.
Bardock was a low-class warrior, so it was unlikely his kids would grow up to be anything more than battlefield fodder.
But they would still possess the Saiyan's power, a transformation that was the key to their planetary devastation.
Big monkey!
Monkey!
Under the light of a full moon, a Saiyan with a tail manifests the Uzaru.
This Great Ape form increases Bardock's power tenfold, turning him into an unstoppable kaiju. Quick, someone call Yajirobe!
While some Saiyans can maintain control over this berserker form, low-class warriors like Bardock don't receive the same level of training as those of higher birth. Prince Vegeta's control is so precise he can speak while changed, but Bardock cannot.
Hell, it's questionable if he even remembers everything that happens when he goes full-tilt gorilla. The Saiyan strategy is pretty much just monkey see, monkey smash.
Despite being low-class, Bardock's power level nearly matched that of King Vegeta, who could destroy multiple planets at once. At about this time, King Vegeta's power level was around 10,000.
Yeah, we know power levels are kinda janky. Nobody can agree on what the number really means.
Outside of his fight with Gas, Bardock doesn't really show any high-end feats in canon, but we can use power levels.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I don't remember Bardock really doing anything of significance. I mean, Bardock's most significant, the most noticeable thing he did was die. So kind of hard to put a bunch of feats on this guy. So I guess they're going to have to scale him to other people. They're saying they're going to try and scale him to King Vegeta here. Yeah, I don't know, man.
To compare him to other characters with similar levels to better understand his potential.
Like when his son fought Prince Vegeta. What's the scouter say about his power level? It's over 8,000. Yeah, the dub changed it to fit Vegeta's lip flaps, but we only cover the cold hard truth, damn it.
According to this movie pamphlet, Goku's power level between his fight with Vegeta and his trip to Namek was 10,000. This lines up with that previous reading and puts him on par with Bardock. Goku's training during the trip eventually raised him to 90,000 upon arrival, but this gives us a clear window.
Yeah, early in the trip he had to dodge a bunch of incoming asteroids and blast his ship away from a star, which is impressive considering the speed involved.
The planet Namek is outside Earth's quadrant of the universe, and it took his ship 6 days to make the journey. Traveling a quarter of the universe's diameter would put the ship over 9.5 trillion times the speed of light.
And Goku Goku would have had to keep up with that kind of speed to do all that other stuff.
Makes sense given far weaker characters could reach the moon in a fraction of a second. Should be trivial enough for Bardock.
All this speed and power meant when Bardock and his team assaulted the planet Cereal, they went, cheerio!
Bardock
Bruh, sometimes the names for Dragon Ball they just turn my brain off. They literally turn my brain off. Like my brain was thinking about it, and it was thinking about Bardock, his power level, you know, his scaling, and then they were like, yeah, planet Cereal. And I was like, and cereal. Like I just completely lost my train of thought, man. Because Toriyama just one day was just in his kitchen and he's like, cereal, granola, vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower. Like, it is what it is.
Ravaged the planet, annihilating its people, until he found two survivors, a mother and her child. Some may call it weakness, others a moment of clarity, but Bardock was suddenly reminded of his wife and recently born son. He chose to spare the two, and even pushed himself far past his limits to protect them from his own Frieza Force allies, who taunted that Frieza had dire plans for the Saiyans' future.
This moment changed Bardock, making him more appreciative of his family and cautious of Frieza. When all the Saiyans were called back to planet Vegeta for mysterious reasons, he had a hunch something was up. So before his final stand, smashing through hundreds of soldiers before coming face to face with the tyrant, he sent his youngest kid away for protection. A choice that allowed his son to thrive. And hey, that's what good parents do.
A choice that would have a greater significance than Bardock could ever imagine.
And then Dildo Dickhead blew them all up and he died. Or did he?
Okay.
Bardock got killed so freaking hard he got blasted.
Okay, so they are going to take into consideration his whole time travel shenanigans. I didn't know. Again, I don't know if this is canon or not, so... But I guess they're going to include it, so I guess it's canon enough?
Back in time!
Actually, he was pulled away by these two, who miscalculated and misplaced him incorrectly in the time stream.
Blah, 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 non-canon, whatever. He survived. And when he realized what happened, he got so unbelievably pissed off, he went Super Saiyan. What?
All right, this is very much an alternate universe what-if scenario, and it is jarring. But think about it. The Super Saiyan form is not achieved through training alone. It requires dedication, introspection, victory, failure, love, and loss. Frieza destroyed the Saiyans because he feared the possibility of the Super Saiyan, a Saiyan with power.
Except for Vegeta, who is so goddamn angry he couldn't be Super Saiyan. He went out into the middle of an asteroid field and just played asteroids nonstop until he achieved Super Saiyan, dude. Like, nobody had to die for Vegeta to achieve it. None of that shit. No, he just got so angry. He was so mad Goku turned Super Saiyan that he's like, no, I'm gonna go figure this shit out. And he went out and trained somewhere and just started breaking asteroids until he achieved Super Saiyan. I mean, I may be remembering it completely wrong because it's a long time since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure that's how Vegeta achieved Super Saiyan. He just went out there and just trained until he got it. So,
or that could rival his own. But perhaps Bardock's transformation was more than simply a what if.
And that's why Vegeta's the best. Yep, I said it. All you Goku people out there, I don't care. I don't care if Goku's stronger.
5 minutes later.
God damn it, I'm gonna have to cut all that shit out now.
He had begun to take the very steps his son later would to achieve the form. Perhaps if Frieza had hesitated, even for a moment, his fear would have manifested before him right then and there.
Damn, pour one out for Bardock, who figured out how to be the truest Saiyan right at the end of it all. I know Kakarot would be proud.
All right, that was the breakdown for Bardock. They did go into his time travel shenanigans. I assume they're going to allow him to go Super Saiyan, but even the guys at Death Battle basically said the same thing I did, where it's like, he doesn't really have any feats. There's just not enough written about Bardock. He hasn't done enough to really have any feats, man. The best we can do is look at other people and say, hey, Other people were able to do this, so we assume Bardock can do this as well. I like Bardock. I really do. I like Bardock as a character. I think he's a cool character, a really neat individual. He has that almost, you know, John Connor, Rambo, you know, leader of the rebellion kind of vibe to him. And I really like that. He's a cool character. And I'm not going to lie, the whole time travel thing, I actually really, really like that. Him going back in time, defeating Frieza's ancestor, becoming the first Super Saiyan, becoming the origin point of the legend of the Super Saiyan that Frieza was afraid of, right? Like, I really enjoy that whole Frieza creating his own worst nightmare, you know, that self-fulfilling prophecy. Him trying to stop the creation of Super Saiyans is the catalyst that does create Super Saiyans. I really enjoy that. But in a one-on-one fight to the death, I just think Nolan's stronger, man. I think he's stronger. I think he's got more combat experience. He's 2,000 years old. I'm not sure how old Bardock is, but I'm pretty sure he didn't live to 2,000. So I'm going to have to go ahead and say OmniMan on this one, just because I just don't think Bardock has the feats. Let's go ahead and see what the guys say. Let's see the fight. All right. Some random nondescript planet. Definitely not Earth.
Great. Another gross bug planet.
You know, the Saiyan capsules have to be the worst spaceship ever designed. It's a seat with a window. That's it. Imagine sitting in the chair you're sitting in right now and having to stay there for like 6 months or a year or however long it takes them to travel from planet to planet. Just sitting in a chair. Like,
He's getting out!
My neck is killing me.
God, that's the worst. Oh, just right on it. Okay.
This planet isn't anyone's to conquer.
Don't underestimate me!
Just like my son, sticking his nose in places he's not ready for.
My sons would kick his ass!
Oh, they're playing catch. You broke it, Nolan. Why'd you break the ball?
Whatever you are, you're an embarrassment.
Wait till you see the real power.
I don't think Great Ape is going to do nothing, bro. I mean, it's a strength increase, but the size increase, frankly, in my opinion, all that does is make him a bigger target. I mean, I don't think that strength or size increase is enough.
Of a Saiyan.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
Oh, I do like that though. The mouth beam from the Ozoru. Oh, swipe with the tail. Oh, never mind. Never mind, tail is gone. Whoop. So much for the monkey form. No!
Shit.
Bruh. Bruh, he ripped your monkey tail off and then he hit you with your own monkey tail. Get out of here, dude. That's embarrassing.
No. My sons need me. I won't let you take me from my
All right. I kind of like the fact right they're out in space right now, so the backdrop is dark. The whole scene is very dark. But I kind of like the fact that what they've done with the Saiyan hair here, he goes Super Saiyan. His hair is actually emitting light, which I kind of like that. If your energy is correlated to your hair, it kind of actually makes sense to me that their hair is actually glowing and emitting light. So I kind of like that touch. It's nice. It's a very nice aesthetic feature that I really enjoy.
Your time is up! Saiyan!
Oh!
You said Saiyan.
He lost his arm.
Remember it.
He said, "You said Saiyan. Remember it." Is this a teaser? Y'all trying to foreshadow a little bit of Goku versus OmniMan? Is this what I'm hearing here? Okay. All right.
Fuck.
Okay, I've got to stop picking fights with guys in capes.
Pitting Saiyan against Viltrumite is fascinating. Among the many similarities, 5 specific categories stand out.
Starting with speed. Add on the 50 times multiplier from Super Saiyan and it's a huge difference.
Right, Bardock clearly has the speed advantage.
I didn't realize Bardock was that much faster than OmniMan, though. Although, when it comes to some of their speed feats in Death Battle, I mean, sometimes it's the numbers for speed are just so wanked. It feels almost like a non-factor, right? It's like, oh, both of these guys are faster than the speed of light, which is the fastest that anything can move according to physics. So it's like, once you've reached that faster than light speed, it almost shouldn't matter, right? Like, that's like terminal speed, if you will. Like, you can't really go any faster than that. So, but it's all fiction, so going faster than light is, you know, a thing.
But strength and durability are another story, which makes OmniMan over 11,000 times stronger than base Bardock.
Not even the Great Ape or Super Saiyan forms could make up that difference. So strength goes to Nolan.
Still, numbers aren't everything. As far as versatility in combat goes, neither had one distinct advantage that could win outright.
OmniMan survives in space for much longer, but Bardock barely squeaks out the edge here thanks to his ranged versatility with key attacks and, of course, Super Saiyan.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense. Because as far as energy projection goes, Viltrumites don't have any, right? They don't shoot lasers out of their eyes like Superman. They don't shoot any kind of like ki blasts or energy beams or anything like that. They're purely physical. So versatility, yeah, obviously would go to Bardock because he can do a number of things like teleport, use ki blasts, stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, they're right.
Let's address the Super Saiyan Bardock thing. It's perfectly fair to question whether or not the form should be in this comparison at all. However, even with the form included, Nolan still takes this, especially when it comes to our last 2 categories, experience and stamina.
Yep, OmniMan's been around a lot longer than Bardock, over 2,000 years, and even with Super Saiyan, Bardock's no master of the form.
And without that mastery, the form drains the user's energies at an increased rate. Which brings us to what may be OmniMan's most surprising advantage.
Those weird smart atoms.
Saiyans like Bardock can fight for days on end, but only for so long. Bardock possesses a limited pool of ki, which only depletes faster when using super forms like the Great Ape. In contrast, OmniMan's biology prevents him from tiring in most cases, letting him travel across whole galaxies for weeks non-stop. And his smart atoms adjust to counter whatever physical strain he's subjected to.
Bardock's crazy speed and power made him a real challenge.
But Nolan's strength, experience, and sheer endurance presented an unstoppable and unshakable force that would inevitably land the killing blow.
Alright guys, that was Death Battle OmniMan versus Bardock. OmniMan takes the win. Yeah, man, I really like Bardock as a character, like I said, but he just doesn't have enough stuff written about him to really be able to make the comparison, frankly. There's just not enough feats, there's not enough stuff about Bardock, you know? I mean, you're trying to compare a guy who has like an entire comic series that almost revolves around him. I mean, you know, Mark is the main character of Invincible, but Omni-Man plays such a massive part in the Invincible series that, like, he is a main character. Bardock is not a main character. Bardock is a side character. He's a character that we learn about in a flashback. Like, there's just not enough written about him to be able to accurately and adequately put him in a death battle like this and expect him to win, honestly. I mean, if his only feat was, hey, I showed up, I'm God, and I killed everything, and that was the end of the Dragon Ball universe, then it'd be a different story, but it's not. He showed up, and he showed up in a flashback and died in the same flashback. And they expanded upon that a little bit, but it's not enough. So Omni-Man wins it. I'm gonna have to agree with this one personally, but yeah, okay. This was an alright death battle. I feel like these two combatants were put together just because of very superficial reasons, because they're both superpowered dads with superpowered sons that are the main character of their respective franchises. But other than that, I don't know, man. I don't feel like this was that great of a matchup. I feel like it was a little too one-sided. With that being said, guys, let me know what you thought about the death battle. Would you prefer to have seen Omni-Man fight someone else? Would you prefer to have seen Bardock fight someone else? How do you think this matchup went? Do you agree with it? Let me know down in the comments. I always enjoy doing these death battle reactions, and I hope you guys enjoy them as well. So if you do, hit that thumbs up. Always consider hitting that subscribe button to help the channel out. And most importantly of all, leave your comments down below. Leave your suggestions for other videos you want me to check out down below as well, and I can get to those in the future. As always, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching the video. Take care of yourselves and have a great day.